Okay, so welcome to the next episode. I'm going to start doing 25-minute episodes, and I'm trying to release one every day for as long as I can. I might record a couple on a day and then schedule the releases. I'm going to try and do them at 7 o'clock each day. I'm going to make some shorts as well, hopefully. So on this one, nothing much has changed from the last video in terms of my team. We're third in the conference. We're a few points behind Doncaster. We're going to play a team that I don't like playing, which is Southport. So let's see how this game goes. Lovely, lovely. So Plunkett is one of the players I was saying that, like, you don't need much in these divisions. Johnson's got his first goal. Sullivan's a player that's very, very good down at this level. 19 off the ball. That's an incredibly high off the ball. I believe he's got one of the highest off the balls that you can have. Plunkett, obviously, 20 off the ball. Finishing doesn't really matter. Just need more fit players on, really. That'd be helpful. So we've got a game coming up against Wrexham in the Cup, which is always a lovely thing. Wrexham aren't a great team to be playing. They are quite frustrating. As you can see, we're starting to motor now. We're starting to motor. We will have to beat Doncaster. That's one of the things we're going to have to do. But our winger still, our left back playing on the wing, still playing really well. And I only made these two substitutions because I want players to be fit for the cup game. My scouts are still out scouting. Now, I did get told something interesting in one of the comments. I don't know if you read the comments or you don't read the comments. I was told about something I didn't even know. So I know versatility affects how well a player plays out of their natural position. And the natural position is the one that you see in the when you look at a player. So, for example, Bunce's natural position is centre back, centre back and right back. So if he plays there, he gets his attributes at a full score. So he doesn't feel any loss of positioning or off the ball or anything like that. So in those two positions, he's absolutely fine. When he starts moving away from those positions, and it's the further that he moves away from those positions, he starts getting penalties to different attributes. Now, the two attributes that I'm completely aware get nerfed by moving are positioning and off the ball. So positioning and off the ball are the ones that they thought, if you're in a new position, like, it doesn't really affect your dribbling, it doesn't really affect how well you can head or how well you can run, but it does affect where you're standing and where you're going to run to. So these are the ones that are nerfed the most, and there are other things that are hurt by playing out of position, but those two are the main ones. I'll speak about arrows actually, but it won't be this episode, but I'll speak in a couple of episodes about arrows and how arrows affect the game, and how you can use it to ameliorate some issues that you may have with your players. So, getting back to what I was saying, so I knew about the versatility and that affecting your positioning and you're off the ball. What I didn't know, and the commenter has told me this, is that players under the age of 23, defenders specifically under the age of 23, get a penalty to their positioning. So whatever it is in the match engine, they get a penalty. 23 to 28, they get no penalty, and then 28 to 32, they get a boost. So if you had three players, one's 20 years old, one's 25 years old, and one's 30 years old, with exactly the same attributes, the 30-year-old would be better in the match engine. Now, I said to this guy that, number one, that's crazy that when they were writing this game, they thought about that, like they thought about positioning being affected by versatility. There's so many little nuances to the game under the hood. It's absolutely outrageous. But secondly, that I consider myself to know quite a bit about this game. I consider that I know more than the average player. Okay, so we're playing home against Wrexham, and then we'll play home against Chester. Wrexham playing 4-4-2 defensive. Okay, same team. So, sorry, back on my thought. Typical. So, yeah, the people who wrote this game were just so far ahead of like the game when they wrote it. Like, there's so many clever little things that I didn't know about. That obviously, the more people are investigating this, the more that they're finding out about it. And I just thought it was like quite incredible that they even thought about this idea. Great. So, Wrexham, Division 2 team, we've beaten them 1-0. Goalkeeper got man of the match, obviously. So we knocked on the door. We didn't get through until right at the end. So I found it quite incredible actually that there's such like depth to this game. There's definitely other things that I've heard about that I can't remember off the top of my head that affect the game. I'm absolutely certain now after speaking to this guy that what I thought about when you play a game before a cup game and your players play a little bit worse but they don't get as much fatigue, I think that might be true as well, that there's something that's hard-coded in the game that your players essentially play with some sort of like they try to ensure that they don't get hurt or injured before their cup game. If it's a big game coming up. I was saying before that there's quite a few seasons where I've played this game where the only games I have lost are the games immediately preceding a cup game, usually an FA Cup game or a League Cup game, and it used to drive me insane. So I used to do like a full squad switch, so I'd switch out the entire squad and switch in a new squad. Obviously, I've stopped doing that now, so we don't do it as much anymore. However, if there were games where I thought that my team would need to be changed, I would do it. Now, Scotland isn't really a very fruitful place to go looking. South Korea is much better. So, I've also said that I will do some shorts about what I look for in specific players and particular players. I am also aware that these episodes, I'm going to start probably taking out a lot of the content that I'm doing where I'm just talking between games, and I might start just stitching game after game after game. So recording a game, running it to the next one, recording another game, and then only doing other recordings when there's something worth talking about. So this will probably be the last of the long form episodes that we get. So from this time onwards, we'll probably just have none of this where we're waiting, where I'm just like talking nonsense between them, which you might like, you might not like, just so that you can see more action as opposed to a guy talking over a loading screen. If I did this guy is quite interesting. Decent jumping, decent positioning, decent bravery, okay tackling, decent strength. So I think we might bring in this guy. And we'll have a look at the attackers in France. No, there's nothing there really. France is generally quite a good place to go, although it's not ideal. So back to what we're saying. Yeah, I'm pretty certain that I will just start doing it where I just go game to game. I don't record because I've worked out now how OBS Studio works, and due to that, it effectively means that I don't need to make you watch all of this nonsense between episodes. I think this guy's going to want a little bit more than the average player. So what we'll do is I'm only going to put him on a 2-year contract. I'll keep until 2003, although I assume that I'll be able to get something better than him soon anyway. But we'll just keep him just in case. And obviously we're now trying to build up a squad of players. Not that it's a necessity. Like if we don't get our 25, 30 players, then that's not a huge issue. It's more that if we've got more players, it means that injuries shouldn't affect us as much. I think Luigi's going to have to come out, and this guy. So I don't actually like putting new players in for cup game. I'm superstitious, obviously, ridiculous as it may be. I think switching Cooler for Namadi might be better because he's got more pace. So if it's marking somebody, okay, that'll have to do. Yeah, so I am quite superstitious. Well, a bit superstitious on this game, only because I've seen the amount of nonsense that it sends out to you. Like this game screws you over in, as you can see. Screws you over as many ways as it possibly can. So here we've got 1 shot, 1 goal with our new defender. I'm going to change our keeper. Obviously we've got 2 shots, 2 goals. So yeah, on this game I am the most superstitious person ever. In real life I'm not. I don't know why my centre back is taking penalties. I've literally no idea. It's what the game likes. It's what he would have wanted. So I love this when we win 5-1. Wayne Brown, who is a guy I buy quite a lot. So normally I'll buy him as a goalkeeper. He'll have been on sale at some point in time. They've sold their first choice goalkeeper. Wright's quite a good player. He's got the dribbling, pace, balance, technique. But these play another. So centralising formations on this game: 4-1-3-2. And obviously, if you like to play with, I'm not going to call them cheaty formations because it's a one-player game, isn't it? You can do what you want. But any centralising formations where you essentially force players into the middle of the pitch are the ones that sort of break the game, as are ones where you've got an odd number of attackers. So if you have 2 centre forwards, it's not as good as having 1 or 3. Also, like I was saying to you before, if you've got a player right in the centre of the pitch, he does seem to score a lot more goals, and I don't know why. Now I know that in one of the championship managers that was released a bit later, just looking at players here, Paul Anthony's always very good. I think I might buy him, although they might not sell him. So this is a guy you might have had before. Again, I am trying to avoid players that you've already had. Sort of don't need any more strikers. I'll put him on the short list just in case we have to sell somebody. Although we shouldn't really need to, should we? Northern Ireland. Sorry, my chain of thought's gone. So you might have had Paul Anthony before, or whatever that guy's name was. I have got a headache, so I do apologise. So you might have had that guy before. If you have, he's a decent player. I've had him before. Like I said, generally players that I think you haven't had, but I might have had, I will buy them, usually, just so you can see them. However, if there are players that are like cheaty, freaky players that everybody knows, I will avoid them as much as I love them. So, like I keep saying, Barnes, Huckabee, et al. So going back to my original thought from before, that the people who invented this game were like miles ahead of where they everybody else was. Also, I do think that this was like the pinnacle of it. That this was the best of the iterations, and the later iterations when it started to go to having pictures and trying to do all things to all people, it started to sort of lose some of its sheen and shine. Like what we have in this game compared to other games is that things still matter in this game, whereas like you're doing things in other games that don't really matter. And then you'll be very aware of my tweet if you follow me on Twitter, which I mean, very sorry if you do. And you'll have found that I did laugh about the fact that the latest Championship manager seems to have a massive problem with pace. So pace is quite powerful in this one, and in some of the older Championship managers, that's between this one and the latest one, when you were buying attributes, so that when they went away from CA15, pace was one of the most expensive attributes to buy. So I believe it was like 2 or 3 ability points for each point of pace, or half point of pace. Two-footedness was really expensive to buy. And the other things, they had different costs. I can't remember the exact costs of everything. But the freak players didn't exist, because a 20 pace was always better than 19 pace, and a 20 finish was always better than 19 finishing. So it sort of lost some of its charm, because you couldn't really find these players that shouldn't exist. And it's the players that shouldn't exist that give this game its replayability, because no matter how good you are at the game and how well you can write a player, a regen can come along that's just better than anything that you've made, which is obviously quite funny. So, in the latest Championship Manager, their problem with pace is the fact that if you just buy players with pace, regardless of any other attributes and any other talents, they will dominate the game. There's a guy that I watch on YouTube whose name escapes me, who showed this, and he showed how you can just break the game by buying players with pace. Now, it's harder to break this game if you just buy players with pace. The closest you can get to breaking this game with one single attribute is the attribute of positioning. Oh, I've not even pushed continue. That's how bad I am. I'm so sorry. So, if you get a team of players with just high positioning, that's the best single attribute. Although it's very hard to win everything, because they just don't score enough goals generally. Okay, this left winger, look, he's injured for a few days. So clearly, when I approach to sign him, and we get him in for £90 a week, my physios will absolutely make him. Yeah, PuLsAtIng's not going to get purchased, I don't think, because I just think they'll just want too much for him. Hines is coming on there, yeah, whatever. Okay, so we've got another couple of games to play, I guess. We'll pretty much keep the same team. This new left winger that I'm going to get might play some games, although I'm not certain. And then from this video onwards, what we will do is I will just, because I've now learned how to stitch videos together in OBS, I will stitch videos together. And then I am planning to make sure that we have one video every day. And then when my viewership gets to like 2, I'll just get rid of doing it. So we've got 3 of the 4 manager of the months, so that's not bad. And we're going to keep the same team, even though last match this guy got a 6. What's he done? Not too bad. Who won all the headers against him? Andy Porter. Andy Porter's dominated him there, hasn't he? I've no idea who's won the headers. Who knows? Who knows who's won the headers? Obviously, Dagenham are a really good team. I don't really understand why they're so low in the league. As you can see, Darlington scores quite a lot of goals. Do I need to replace my goalkeeper? Maybe I should just buy a good goalkeeper and just like succumb to the idea that goalkeepers are in this game. Clearly, this guy's more of a centre forward than a centre back. 2 goals in 2 games. As you can see, one shot, 1 goal for them. I won't change my goalkeeper yet. I'll wait till it's 2 shots, 2 goals before I change my goalkeeper. Sorry, I don't know which screen you prefer it on. So as you can see, we are starting to. Well, Doncaster. When do we play them? Oh, we play Doncaster soon. It'll be in the next video. So we are starting to like put some points into the when he gets bought, I assume, is when they'll stop winning. Actually, we are starting to put some points on the board. Hereford, are you going to do us a favour? Yeah, Hereford have done us a favour. Look at that. Look, we're 3 points behind now. Same amount of goals scored, same amount of goals conceded. If only I had a proper goalkeeper, then maybe we'd be level on points with them. I think what we'll do is, it makes a lot of sense if I finish this game. Sorry, finish this after the next game. And I do apologise, I've got such a banging headache. If I finish this after the next game, how much do they want if I try and buy him like this? What do you want? 16,000. Alright. Alright. We'll do that. we'll do that. Oh, Swansea have gone for him as well. There's no chance in hell we're getting him, is there? He's going to end up in the Welsh city. So I don't think it's this game. I think it's the update that Swansea have probably the best central midfielder on the game for my money. Or if not the best on the game, certainly one of them. No, I think he's at Cheltenham at the moment. So this guy here, although his roll this time is really bad, this is the highest creativity on the game. If he's got creativity of 20 and passing of like 12 or above, then he's absolutely brilliant. I've seen him have 20, 12 and 20, and he's just obscene, an obscene footballer. He dominates games. He makes Iniesta look like untidy with a football. Belgium's not really doing anything for me here. So we go to Brazil now. Like I said, that's why I do it, because basically you've seen me play in this game. You've seen how like slapdash I am, forgetting to sign physios that can basically raise the dead. Even that's the most important thing. Forgetting that I need more players to start the season. So we're in December. Like, that's the one thing that I like about this game, that you can go through it really quickly. Okay, we've got Stoke, Luton and Doncaster. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop the recording here, and then I guess these 3 big games will make my next video, just because I think this is a nice place to stop it, and then we can start like a big one on my first officially premiered video at 7 PM tomorrow. So like and subscribe please, as I always say, and for the 4 people that have made it this far, thank you very much.